Professor Dr. S. Gauri is the Director of EMRC of UGC and also Professor in the Department of Manufacturing Engineering, Anna University. He is the recipient of the National Award for Outstanding Academic 2011, honored by the Indian Society of Technical Education, New Delhi in 2012. He has previously been the Registrar of Anna University of Technology, Chennai. He received BE in Mechanical Engineering from Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, MTech in Production Engineering and PhD in Precision Machining in IIT Madras. He was awarded for his PG project work in IIT Madras. His main areas of interest are technical education system development, precision machining, rapid prototyping, FEA, biomedical engineering, medical image analysis and shape memory alloys. He is a life member of ISTE, AMM and SME of USA. He has been awarded with fellowships of research work done in surface engineering by NSF USA in 1992 and by NSTB Singapore in 1997 to 1999. He is a visiting faculty in India and abroad in many colleges and universities, including Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, Technical University, Weingarten, Stuttgart, Germany, and taught nanotechnology. He has traveled many countries, including Germany, UK, USA, Netherlands, Singapore, Spain, Switzerland, Malaysia, Brunei, and Australia for his academic works. In addition, he got international travel fellowships from UGC, AICTE, CSIR, and DST. He has successfully completed several projects in India and abroad. He has offered technical consultations in India and abroad to MNCs such as Sony of Japan, Pratt & Whitney of USA, GE of Singapore, iGel of Australia, and also to Railways Coach Factory, Chennai. He was a member of the Technical Expert Committee selected by DST to participate in the Indo-UK Manufacturing Engineering Colloquium held in January 2012. He headed the International Joint Project on Virtual Laboratories on Mechatronics, a real-time web-based project with partners from Julius Maximilian University, Würzburg, Germany, and the University of Madrid, Spain in 2005. He is holding an international patent for the work done in micromachining during his tenure in Singapore. He is a member and director of several Tamil Nadu government advisory boards.
In this episode, we will learn about linear programming and its applications such as product mix, productivity improvement, cost reduction, scheduling, etc.
Good morning to all of you. Today onwards, for a selected period of this semester, we will be discussing on the linear programming, a very important and an oldest technique adopted in operations research, which has a very interesting history. The term linear programming was coined by a mathematician, Dr. G.B. Dantzig, George Bernard Dantzig, an American mathematician cum scientist. In 1947, he published a paper on this linear programming. Until then, it was called as linear models, linear mathematical models. So, what he assumed is most of the practical situations in the universe or in the world or in any organizations can be approximately mathematically modeled. Please note the term approximately. The approximation means what are the probabilistic situations or what are the hindrances which cannot be modeled, can be assumed to be absent or present as per the convenience of the modeling, and hence the modeling could be done effectively still with some approximation. That is a Dantzig's linear programming. Here he assumed when you want to make any decision, the decision can be modeled in a linear way, and what are the constraints or what are the binding elements over the decision making can also be mathematically modeled in terms of linear equality or inequality. Equality means a perfect equation, or inequality means it can be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So, in that way the constraints or the limitations or the binding elements can be again modeled in terms of some linear equalities and inequalities, and using them the decision can be made. And he again assumed that all the decision making elements can be mathematically termed as decision variables, just like x1, x2, x3, so on. We can have an easy assumption which we can easily understand is, for example, two types of medicines are made, or two types of paints, exterior paints as well as interior paints. And when the two paints are to be made by a chemical company, it knows what are the resources required, and some resources may be same, some resources will be different. That is why one is an exterior paint, just like your building has been now painted with the exterior paint. If an interior, this wall is also to be painted and we have to go for the interior paint. So, two different type of paints, and one is exterior and interior, which requires some amount of chemicals and manpower and machine power, and using them you have to decide how many liters or how many kilograms of each paint to be made in a production run. So, at that time the two paints, exterior and interior, can be mathematically labeled as x1, x2, or if there is one more paint, x3 or x4, like that. So, these are all coming into the fashion or a structure called linear structure. That is why the Danzig named as a linear structure model. Later, once you made the decision what type of program or what type of plan of action you are going to make, and that gave him to give the name programming. That is why today we say it is a linear programming. Please remember, the word programming used in linear is not relevant to the computer programming or the programming languages what we study today, because in 1947 these terms were far beyond imagination. Am I right? Nobody thought like that. There may be some mechanical computers, so just like a simulated one, but today we have a digital computers. Nobody thought such a digital computer, even that Danzig might not have thought like that. So, the linear programming was developed and he coined the name as linear programming. That was a 2 variable problem, 3 variable, multivariable problems, like that. And this is being used not only for such a product mix problem, that can be used for any other problem or any other situation where you have to make decision, then you model it in a linear way, so that it can be solved and suitable decision can be made. The crux or the aim of the linear programming is to identify the best decision, because operations research is the mathematical science, is a mathematical way by which you will be able to get a better decision, or sometimes better than the best, beyond which no other solution is possible. And that decision making theory is operations research, and linear programming is one of the best tools for that. So, the decision making may be to either maximize or minimize, maximize the profit, maximize the outcome, maximize the satisfaction, maximize the sales, or maximize whatever the benefit you want to get it. At the same time, it can be to minimize also, minimize the time consumption, minimize the wastages, just like that. Do not waste neither money or time, try to use both of them optimally, that is one saying based on operations research. So, try to minimize the wastages, try to minimize the expenses, try to minimize the number of hours, try to minimize the material utilization. So, how best we can make out of that? Again, that is also an optimal decision. So, optimization can be either minimization or can be maximization, but you cannot go on maximize, you cannot go on minimize as you like. We people are very ambitious, sometimes greedy, but that cannot be possible, because there are always limitations. Even if you want to score more than 100 marks in your final exam, there are some limitations. You know what are the limitations. Still you have to cross over the limitations at this age, aim at 100. Like that, there are a lot of limitations, practical limitations which are posing us. You can do like this only. But still we have to make such decisions in order to optimize what the aim, at the same time make use of all the resources, just like the paint company which makes two different type of paints. So, we will find out what is the amount of paint in each category to be produced. So, this method can be used for other type of problems also, where you want to transport goods from different places to some other places, or from different factories located in different locations to warehouses located in different places, maybe nearer or far away. So, according to the demand and the supply, what the factory can supply, what the demand is existing in the warehouses, how many units or how many number of items can be produced and transported, so that the transportation cost can be the minimum, because we want to minimize the cost. So, these are all coming under the topic called linear programming. G.B. Danzig in 1947. So, linear means linear relationship among the variables. What are the variables? X1, X2, X3 among the variables. All the variables have a linear relationship, whether they are the constraint, whether they are the objective function. Just like if you have the two different type of paints to be produced and the sales to be maximized, the aim is called objective function, is labeled as Z, maybe 2x1 plus 3x2, subject to the constraints. The constraints may be 5x1 plus 6x2 is less than 12, or 3x1 plus 10x2 will be less than or equal to 27, and x1, x2 greater than or equal to 0, like this. This is a simple model, just like the example what we considered. X1 is the number of units of the paint of exterior paint, x2 is the number of units, maybe liters, of the interior paint, and these are the resources labeled as the constraints. For example, once you sell 1 unit of the exterior paint, you get, for example, 2000 rupees profit or 2 units of profit, then total profit is 2x1. Similarly, 1 unit of interior paint gives 3000 rupees profit, 3 units of profit, then it is equal to 3x2 is the total profit. So, the total profit out of the sale is 2x1 plus 3x2, subject to these are the constraints. This one may be a material, the other may be, for example, man hours. The material means maybe a chemical may be 12 ton available in a production run, and 1 unit of exterior paint requires 5 tons of the raw material, whereas 6 tons of raw material is required to make 1 units of interior paint. So, the total is 5x1 plus 6x2. So, this is the total requirement for the interior paint, this is the total requirement for the exterior paint. Once you sum it up, and that should not be more than 12, because this is available material in a production run. So, less than or equal to. Similarly, man hours, to make 1 unit of or 1 ton, 3 man hours, to make x1, 3x1 hours, and to make 1 unit 10 hours, to make x2 units 10 x2 hours. The total consumption is 3x1 plus 10 x2, the maximum available in a production run is 27. So, that should be less than 27. So, here these are all linear relationship, this is also linear relationship, this is inequality and this is an equality. So, this is a model what he developed, and last one you may be thrilled to ask what it is. Can you explain what it is? X1, X2 greater than or equal to 0?
Non-zero constraint.
Why? Why should it be a greater than or equal to 0?
We can't sell less than 0 products. It's not possible to produce less than 0 products.
That is another major assumption or advantage or blessing in linear programming is all the associated variables here are non-negative, greater than or equal to 0. It can be 0 or positive, no one can become negative. Negative means just like a scrap, a production, even the scrap can be sometimes sold, we get some profit out of that. Just like you sell newspapers, no? You buy newspaper, one day newspaper 3 rupees 25 paise, finally sell 1 kilo 10 rupees. We get something out of that. Like that here also may get, but still the assumption is they are not negative, they are non-negative. So, x1, x2 greater than or equal to 0. This is a simple LPP model, linear programming model what he developed, and this could be extended to simplex graphical technique by which you can find out the value of x1, x2, the best decision to be made, or if it is more than 2 variables, we cannot use that many number of axes in a graph. So, go for simplex technique, that also later modified by him, and he still extended this to transportation problem just like we discussed. And another one interesting one he found out at that time is there are about 75 jobs and 75 people, and who should be assigned to which job, so that the job can be done, the total time taken to complete the job can be the most minimum. 75 people or employees, 75 jobs were there. Then who should be assigned to which job? The machine hours or the job hours for each employee was known. It was varying from one person to other person, from one job to other job, it was varying. How to find out? They tried to find the method by different type of the combinations or configurations. By one, we give one this and next one this, next one this manually. Then he in a funny way he quoted that the number of computations or configurations were more than the number of particles in the universe. So, like that many number of configurations were there, but he did it in a different way, so that it could be solved in a simple and easy way in the very short time using the linear programming technique by which they could find out the solution. So, this was considered as just like a mathematical wonder at that time to solve the problems when the computers were the beginning of their career. And later this technique was further used for game theory, or known as the theory of games. The LPP was developed, but used by many more concepts, probabilistic as well as deterministic models by a scientist you might have heard, Dr. John Nash. He got many awards, but the highest award what he got was Nobel Prize. He developed a concept called Nash theorem, Nash concept, John Nash. He is still alive, we will study when we go for the game theory. That is also an extension of linear programming. So, like that the linear programming put a foundation in 1947, and thereafter it had its many more steps of growth, and today we are using, even with lot of assumption, with the use of computers, lot of softwares, we will be able to solve the problems. And there are some software packages available for linear programming like quantitative statistical business, QSB, and other one is called Lindo. And these are some sort of packages. Lindo, I remember it was written in Fortran, thereafter it was transferred to BASIC. Now it may be available in C, C++ like that. Like that the QSB, the lot of software packages, just to give the input about the simplex problem or the product mix problem, everything, we will give the solution immediately. But people have written the program like that. So, that is also another developmental work in linear programming. Okay. Now, let us solve a problem on linear programming. It is a 2-dimensional, then we will move into 3-dimensional like that. Please note the production run as follows. It takes 2 hours to fill 1000 bottles of medicine A and 1 hour to fill 1000 bottles of medicine B. The total hours available in a production run is limited to 66 hours. In addition, the raw material available for medicine A is to fill up 20,000 bottles, for medicine B is available to fill 40,000 bottles in a production run. The total number of bottles into which either of the medicine can be filled up is available to the number of 45,000, and the 45,000 bottles we can use some bottles for A, some bottles for B. We cannot mix both. And the unit profit, that means by selling one bottle of medicine A, he gets rupees 8 as profit, and by selling one unit of medicine B or one bottle of medicine B, he gets 7 rupees profit. So, suggest an optimal product mix so that profit can be optimized. How many variables? That means how many products? There are 2 products. There are 2 products, hence 2 variables. There are 2 products and hence 2 variables. And first identify what is the objective function. The objective function or the aim is to maximize the profit. Any manufacturer will try to maximize the profit or maximize the sales. So, objective function is maximization. Objective is to maximization, maximization. Maximization of what? Profit. How does he get profit? By selling the 2 items. The 2 products contribute the profit, and hence the 2 products are the decision variables which have effect or control or contribution over the profit. As long as many number of x1 and x2, you get as many increase in the profit, but that is limited or controlled or constrained by the set of variables. Even though the manufacturer wants to maximize the profit by selling as many number of A, as many number of B, he cannot do that because there are constraints, limitations. The limitations are stated in the problem as the number of bottles available. Even though he can produce as many number of bottles, but the maximum number of bottles available is only 45. Whether he may produce the bottles or whether he may buy the bottles from some other supplier, but the per day limitation is only 45,000. So, we have to use only the 45,000 number of bottles, but how many can be used for the medicine A, how many can be filled for the medicine B is a question mark. That is what we are going to find out. And the next one is the number of hours. The maximum hours available is 66 hours, beyond which they cannot work. Finish. That is all. Employees may not be available or power may not be available, like that. And each one has its consumption, like 2 hours for 1000 bottles of medicine of A and 1 hour for 1000 bottles of medicine of B, like that. The total hours is 66 hours. So, using the 66 hours, how many can be used, how many can be produced. And the other query, the one is the medicine, the raw material available for medicine A is, for thousands of bottles of medicine A is 20. 20,000. And for B is 40,000. Medicine available 40,000, like that, for some units like this. So, these are the limitations, and these should be modeled and that should be solved. Solved in the sense, everyone will have effect on the value of x1 and x2. Like the objective function maximize is that is equal to, what is the unit profit? 8 for 1000. So, let us say what are the decision variables. Let us claim as x1 is 1000 bottles of A, medicine A, x2 1000 bottles of B medicine, where A is the type of a medicine and B is another type of medicine, and 1000 bottles. For example, x1 comes to 1, it means 1000 bottles A, x1 comes to 1.5, 1500 bottles, x1 come to 2.7, 700, very good, like that you have to find out. And maximization, what is the profit? 1. By selling one bottle of medicine of A, he gets 8 rupees. By selling x1, it will come x1 plus 7 x2. Still remember, you note that the x1 is nothing but 1000 bottles. Here is also indirectly 1000 is there. Or sometimes you can put, if it is 1 unit, you can put x1 1000, you can put 8000 x1 plus 7000 x2. Please note, this 1000 is hidden here. Provided you write x1 directly, then convert it into 1000, because this 8 and 7 for one bottle. Please note, it is one bottle, not for 1000 bottles. That is why split into 1000 here. So, when you convert x1 into 1000 and multiply by 8 or 8000 by x1, what do you get? In any way you can do it. When you solve the problem, you will have a better understanding. So, this is the objective function, and these are following a linear relationship. The next one is binding constraint. What is the binding constraint? The one is the number of availability of bottles. The availability of bottles, how many bottles are available? Maximum 45,000. So, since that is also 1000, x1 1000 plus x2 1000 is 45. Or you put 1000 x1 plus 1000 x2, you can put 45,000. Otherwise, x1 plus x2, put 45. In any way you can put. And this is the maximum available bottles. It will never exceed 45. So, it can be perfectly equal or it can be less. We do not know whether it will be less or perfectly equal. So, put less than or equal to. This is constraint 1 based on the availability of bottles. And again, the problem states the raw material available for x1 is 20,000, and for this one the other type of medicine is 40,000. So, if x1 is 1000, the maximum number of medicine is for cannot exceed 20 and x2 cannot exceed 40, because this is bottles, these are based on medicines, raw material, sorry. So, the raw material for medicine A is only for 20,000 bottles. Raw material availability for medicine B is only for 40,000 bottles. So, x1 less than or equal to 20, x2 less than or equal to 40. This is based on the raw material. Then any other constraint? This one, number of hours, how does it say? 2 hours for 1000 bottles of A. So, x1 1000 means 2 x1 plus 1 hour for 1000 bottles of B. So, 1 x1 x2 is equal to x2. What is the hours available? 66. So, the number of hours available in a production run is limited to 66. It can be 66 or less, it can never be more than 66. So, these are the 4 constraints, and one more constraint we should always write without missing it, that is non-negativity constraint. That means, x1 and x2 can never be a negative one, it should be always this is non-negativity constraints. It is a non-negativity constraint. So, in that way we get constraint number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 constraints based on the availability of bottles, availability of raw material, availability of hours, and one is a non-negative constraint. Now, using a suitable technique, either a graphical or simplex technique, you should solve the problem, find out the value of x1 and x2, which will maximize the z value. That means x1 and x2 will be the most maximum value, which will give the best value of z, beyond which that cannot be increased. It is not possible. That is the one. But at the same time, the value of x1 and x2 should satisfy all the constraints. If you put the value of x1 and x2, the inequality should be satisfied, or if it is inequality, that should be satisfied. Please note that the inequality here are less than or equal to. The inequality can be greater than or equal to also. Sometimes you put instead of the number of hours are 66, limited to 66, they say the minimum number of hours available is 66, means it can be greater than or equal to 66. It can be 66 or more, like that. That is why you put inequality. So, when you find out the value of x1 and x2, they should satisfy all the constraints, all the 5 constraints. Then only you will say that you have a consistency. That solution is a feasible solution. So, in any problem, when you solve the value of, when you solve all the constraints, you will get more than one set of values of x1 and x2, which will satisfy all the constraints. They are called feasible solutions. Feasible means feasibility exists. It sats. The feasible solution means it is a set of value of x1 and x2, which satisfy all the given constraints. If any value of x1 and x2 do not satisfy any one, at least any one of the constraints is not satisfied. Among the 5, 4 are satisfied, but only one is not satisfied. Just forget, you may think, no. At that time, the feasibility is not there, it is called infeasible solution. The solution is known as infeasible solution. That is just opposite. Infeasibility exists. The infeasibility exists because of whether you have done the problem wrong, provided the data is right, or sometimes the data itself is wrong, or modeling itself may be wrong. Clear? At that time, infeasibility appears. When there is an infeasible solution, then you cannot get optimal solution. When you have a set of feasible solutions, more than one set of value of x1 and x2, x1 may be 2 and 3, another one x1, x2 may be 4 and 5, like that you may have set of values of x1 and x2, which will satisfy all the constraints, 5 constraints, and among the feasible solution, pick out the one solution which will satisfy or which will maximize this objective function, and that is called optimal solution.
To summarize what we have discussed, let me explain. We have understood what is linear programming and what is its applications in industry, other sectors such as finance or agriculture, etc. The importance of linear programming is also discussed. Then finally, we know how to apply it and how to implement it. Let me frame some questions to your interest. Question number 1, what is the significance of linear programming? The question number 2, will always linear programming yield a single optimal solution or not? Explain. The last question, what is the meaning of the word linear in linear programming?